Hello, podcast listeners. It's Emily, and this is Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 39. I have done 39 of these. No, I've done 38. This will be number 39. And if you are listening on SoundCloud, or actually even if you're listening on iTunes, I think what's happening is I only have a limited number of minutes on SoundCloud. So I am deleting old episodes from SoundCloud, which probably makes them go away via iTunes as well, if you haven't already downloaded them. So if you want to hear previous episodes, download now. I've already deleted quite a few, but more are going. So basically, every time I post a podcast, one will disappear via SoundCloud because of math. Sometimes two might disappear because a longer podcast is gonna take up maybe some of my earlier ones are a little shorter. I wasn't yet putting songs at the end of them and so on. So anyway, that's just a public service announcement if you would like to make sure that you don't miss out on the previous ones. At some point I'll come up with some genius way to make them all accessible, but I don't know what that way is yet, so hang tight on that one. So today this episode is called The Resistance Will Be Handcrafted. I originally was going to call it The Revolution Will Be Handcrafted, but I changed my mind and went with resistance instead because that is the word we're using for what's going on right now. It may be a revolution that might be coming, but right now we're just working on resistance. But my revolution idea was inspired by The Revolution Will Not Be Televised by Gil Scott-Heron, which I listened to again. Kind of thinking about this blog, I was like, oh, let me hear it again. It's been a long time, and man, if I didn't hear it a different way than I did before. I feel like I didn't really understand that song / poem all the many times I heard it before. Like I mean, I don't feel like I feel like I understand it in a different way. At the time, I feel like I thought, oh, it's just saying like, I don't know what I thought it was saying. Now I feel like my ignorance is showing itself, but I feel like I understand it now, that you have to be present. You can't check out of the shit that's going on. Like television is one way, but the others are there are quite a few other ways to check out of this business. And television isn't the main way we do that anymore. But I think the liveness of it is important, and I don't think I ever felt that or understood that about that poem song before. It's really great. Like if you haven't listened to it in a while, listen to it. I think it will give you a little boost. Yeah, it's pretty great. So anyway, this blog is called The Resistance Will Be Handcrafted, and I will read it to you now. Since the digital age really kicked in, I have watched a lot of things that were important to me fade away. In a world that values social media currency and digital art and so many things on screen, my analog skills of theater making, performance, and presence have felt less and less valued in the world. While I have adapted as well as I can, I have at times felt like an analog girl in a digital world, a hand-woven basket in a factory town. But since the world turned upside down on January 20th, I have found that my old school art skills are suddenly relevant again. At a recent rally in March, I suddenly realized how many skills I was pulling out of storage to be there. Some examples were creating an impromptu puppet, gathering protest props that not only can pop at a protest, but be lightweight and fit in a bag so I can carry them on the subway, putting a costume together, singing loudly, helping ladies find a pitch when a man is leading the singing, and puppeteering. And it's not just me. There's a call for all kinds of analog skills that might have felt lost to the digital age. Examples: painting signs, playing drums, marching bands, one-man/woman bands, creating spectacle, knitting. Art supply sales are booming. There is something poignant about our old school skills suddenly being useful again. We can't rely on video to save us. We need things in real life, now more than ever. In a way, it's a shift of our public spaces out of the internet and into actual spaces. We are all out in public more. And I find I want to bring out even more things into that space. I want to cry in public space. I was a little disappointed there was no keening at the mock funeral I went to. I could have used a good cleansing cry. I want to read in public space. What if we had a read-in? I want to just sit quietly with a bunch of my fellow introverts and shush anyone who gets too loud. There is something about this moment that is calling us to really stand behind what we value. And those values may not always be obvious. It reveals all the things we've let dwindle, things we actually once loved or felt were necessary. Things like journalism, theater, music. All things we stopped paying for because we could get them for free. If there's anything to hope for in this depressing mess of a year, it's that adjustment of value. It's that subscriptions of newspapers and magazines are back up. People need music like never before, and theater might just make a difference again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Resistance Will Be Handcrafted. Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I'm knocking digital a little bit, but I am in a digital form, right? So I'm crafting this podcast on my computer with the wonders of GarageBand. So it's not an entirely analog world. I can tell you about the handcrafted world via the digital. So I guess it's a blend. It's a combination, as everything always is, isn't it? So today's song is a song. Well, it's not my song. I have not been writing in a long time, and many of the songs that are mine are fairly old. But I have been really just feeling the like compulsion to play and to sing. I guess that's that same kind of impulse to be in real life, right? To make sound, to do kind of old school stuff. Yeah, so I've been playing songs that I haven't played in a while, or songs that are just kind of with me. And this song is it's a song called Howie. It's by a woman called Kristen Hall. Golly, that's terrible. I'm not sure. Kristen. It's Kristen. Why the doubt? Anyway, Kristen Hall, who I saw open for the Indigo Girls in, it's probably 1990, I want to say. 90, 91, possibly. I think it was 90, though. Could have been 89, but I'm pretty sure it was 90. Anyway, she played this song, and my friend and I both just kind of fell in love with it. I don't remember anything else about her set, but that song just kind of like popped. And I got her album. I don't think I got it at the time, but I did get it later, and I just was like, where's that Howie song? It just really... It really got me somehow, and it stayed with me. It's like, it's funny all these years later. It is a song that I still love, and it's in keeping with the kind of handcrafted theme of the day. It's really just me and the guitar, and it's pretty stripped down. There's not much else going on here, but Howie, and it's a song about friendship. And here it is. In a broken down Bedford, we headed up north for the country. Back to the limit with gear for the show. Howie was native to the beauty of shaded hillside. Me with my jaw hanging, taking it in. And we drove down that long, lonely road to a backlit horizon and the ominous view of the North Sea. Castles and saucers filling the sky. We were briefly detained by the questions of highway patrolmen who asked what was wrong but meant, why are you here? As we waved him goodbye, we were shaking inside, but we headed towards Glasgow at 30 more minutes to ride. Oh, my head was filling with wonderful thoughts, like a big mental merry-go-round I couldn't get off. Not that I'd even want to. When we reached the hotel, I was wired from all the excitement, like the first time I ever saw dinosaur bones. Then I slept